So today I am going to talk about sex determination. So what is sex determination? Determining the sex of one offspring in an organism is called as the process of sex determination. So when we are talking about sex determination, we should understand what is reproduction. We all know that reproduction is of two types. One is of asexual reproduction, another one is of sexual reproduction. So with all the among all the reproducing organisms, mostly they went for sexual reproduction. So when we are talking about sexual reproduction, it is again of two types. Okay, sir. So what are the two types? First kind of organisms are known as hermaphrodites. What are hermaphrodites? They are basically the bisexual organisms. That means both male and female reproducing organs are present in the same individual. The second kind of organisms are unisexual organism. That means a single individual of that population will either have the male sexual organ or the female sexual organ. So these hermaphrodites animals are also known as monoecious. Why monoecious? Because a single organism will have both the sexual character or both the sex organ in it. Whereas the unisexual organism is known as dioecious. So dioecious refer to both sexual organism, both the organs, sex organs, male sex organ is present in a different group of animal and the female sexual organ is present in the different group of animal. Depending on the presence of the sexual organs, these dioecious animals can be divided into female and male. So females are those which have the female sexual organs in it, and males are those which have the male sexual organ in it. So because of the presence of sexual organs differently in different group of animals in the same population, the population is known as known to have the sexual dimorphism. Why? As we know, among human population we can see females are much more different as compared to male, depending on its sexual appearance, depending on its phenotype, depending on its what we call it, the external appearance. So the term where the female and the male have different sexual characteristic and appearance, we call it as sexual dimorphism. So till now, what I have told you, I would like to summarize it that sex determination is the determining of sex of an individual. So mostly sexually reproducing organisms are divided into two types. One is hermaphrodites, another is unisexuals. So hermaphrodites are also bisexual organism. Why? Because both male and female reproducing organs are present in the same organism, whereas unisexual organisms having the male sexual reproductive organs and the female sexual reproductive organs present in different individual. Those individuals are characteristically different and also phenotypically different. So the population consisting of two different kind of organisms is known as sexual dimorphism. Then when we are talking about sex determination mechanism has been divided into three types. The first one is chromosomal basis of sex determination. The second one is environmental basis of sex determination. And the last one is non-chromosomal basis of sex determination. So the most important one or the most important mechanism of sex determination is the chromosomal basis of sex determination, about which I am going to explain elaborately. So what is this chromosomal basis of sex determination? To understand the chromosomal basis of sex determination, we need to first understand what are the chromosomes. So the first concept is, what is this chromosome? Chromosomes are nothing but the condensed form of DNA. So what is this DNA? DNA is the genetic material which is bound around the histone molecules to form the chromosomes. So chromosomes are basically the condensed form of this DNA or genetic material which is bound around histones, which will imply our genetic characteristics, or which will carry out the genetic information of a particular organism, which in turn provide the characteristics of, or the characteristic to the organism. So in short, chromosomes are the DNA or genetic material which are bound around histone proteins, which will carry out the genetic information about that particular organism, which will be implicated in the form of characteristic of that organism. So once we have understood this, that what is chromosome, now the thing is, how many type of chromosomes are present? So chromosomes are basically of two types. First is autosomes, second is allosomes, or better known as sex chromosomes. So what these autosomes do? These autosomes are responsible for all the metabolic events that takes place inside an organism. Whereas this sex chromosome, as its name suggests, is mostly responsible for the development of sexual characteristics. So chromosome being divided into autosome and allosome, where the autosome is responsible for the metabolic events and allosomes or sex chromosome responsible for the development of sexual characteristics. This chromosome, when plays an important role in determining the sex of a particular organism, is known as the chromosomal basis of sex determination. So as the name suggests, the sex chromosome is mostly responsible for the determination of the sex. However, under certain circumstances or under certain processes, autosomes also plays major role in the determining the sex of the individuals. So there are different kind of chromosomal basis of sex determination, which is majorly divided into 5 categories. So what are the 5 categories of determining the sex depending on the chromosomal basis? So the major 5 categories of chromosomal sex determinations are XX XY system, ZZ ZW system, XX XO system, ZZ ZO system and haplodiploidy system. So XX XY system is mostly found in case of humans. So this is the basis of sex determination in case of humans. So when we are talking about humans, we all know that the human contains 46 number of chromosomes, out of which 22 pairs are autosomes and 2 number of sex chromosomes are present. So when we are talking about human males, they contain the 22 pair of autosomes, along with that as sex chromosome X and Y chromosomes are present. When we are talking about human females, they have the 22 pair of autosome, along with that double X chromosome are present as the sex chromosome. So the males having 2 different type of sex chromosome, that is X and Y, make the males heterogenetic. And as the female contains 22 pair of autosome with a pair of X chromosome, they are known as the homogenetic. Why the term heterogenetic and homogenetic? I would like to say here that hetero means difference or variance, homo means single. So as the 2 sex chromosomes present in case of males don't match each other, that means there are 2 different kind of sex chromosomes present in case of human males. That's why they are known as the heterogenetic population in humans. But in case of human females, they have a pair of X chromosome, that means both the sex chromosome are matching each other, or they have the similar kind of sex chromosome. That's why they are known as homogenetic, containing the single type of sex chromosome. So as we know, when the gamete is formed for the process of fertilization, during that time half of the set of genetic material is segregated into the gamete. So when the human male will form gamete, the gamete will have, out of the 22 pair of autosome, a single set will go, that is 22 autosomes, not pair here, 22 number of autosome, plus either or of the X or Y chromosome. That is, the gamete can either contain 22 autosome plus 1 X chromosome or 22 autosome plus 1 Y chromosome. When we are talking about the females, they will definitely produce only a single kind of gamete, that is 22 autosome and 1 X chromosome, as there is no Y chromosome in case of the human females. So when the males are producing these 2 kind of gametes and females are producing a single kind of gamete, so the males in human populations are known as heterogametic and the females in human populations are known as homogametic. So during reproduction, during the process of fertilization, any one of the 2 type of gamete from male will fuse with the single kind of gamete of female. So if the female gamete is fusing with the male gamete containing X chromosome, then the offspring will have 22 pair of autosome along with 2 X chromosome or a pair of X chromosome. Because of the presence of 2 X chromosome, the individual will develop into a female. If the female gamete is fusing with the male gamete containing Y chromosome, then the offspring will have 22 pair of autosome along with X and Y as their sex chromosome. Because of the presence of X and Y in the sex chromosome, the individual will develop into a male. So because of the probability of producing or fertilizing with either X chromosome containing gamete or Y chromosome containing gamete of male, the probability of producing a female offspring or a male offspring is always 1:1. So up to this, we are quite convinced that the males in the human population is, males in the human population is heterogametic, having X and Y chromosome as sex chromosome, and also heterogenic genetic because of the presence of X and Y chromosome, and heterogametic, producing two different kind of gametes during the process of fertilization. So here the only thing that differ between male and female is this Y chromosome. So the Y chromosome basically determines the sex of an organism in case of human. So what this Y chromosome do? The Y chromosome, which is basically shorter in size as compared to X chromosome, is responsible for developing an organism into a male. Why? The Y chromosome has a certain region called as SRY region. The SRY is nothing but sex determining region. So this SRY region will produce TDF protein, that is testis determining factor. So in the presence of testis determining factor, male sexual hormones as well as the male sex organs will be developed. So when the individual is possessing the Y chromosome, the SRY region of this Y chromosome will produce the TDF, which in turn will develop the male sexual characteristic as well as the male sexual organ, developing that offspring into a male. So up to this it was quite clear that this Y chromosome plays an important role in determining the sex of an individual. That's why in another word we can say all human population by default are female, unless and until the Y chromosome is actively present in it. Why I am repeating the term active? Even if with the presence of Y chromosome, if the Y chromosome is not characteristically active, then it will not develop into a proper or fertile male. So in case of human population, we can say that males are the one who is determining the sex of an organism. So this is all about the sex determination in case of male. One important factor is, as I have already said, that Y chromosome is shorter as compared to X. So during the process of fertilization, the gamete containing this Y chromosome has the chance to move faster, thereby the chances of development of a male is much more than as compared to the female. So that's why we can see in a human population, the male population is much more as compared to female. Next, coming back to the second system of sex determination, that is ZZ and ZW system. This is nothing but just opposite of the sex determination in case of humans. So this is basically an example of sex determination in case of birds. So what happens in ZZ and ZW system? The males of these systems have two pair of autosomes plus a single type of sex chromosome, that is ZZ, whereas the females have two pair of autosome plus different type of sex chromosome in it, that is Z and W. So here the males are not heterogenetic like the males in human, they are homogenetic in case of birds. However, the females here are heterogenetic, having ZW as their sex chromosome. So during the process of gamete formation, the male will definitely give rise to a single type of gamete containing two set of autosome, or single set of autosome, which we can say, plus a Z sex chromosome producing a single type of gamete, that is A plus Z. So hence they are known as homogametic, producing a single type of gamete. Whereas the female will give rise to two different kind of gamete, that is either A plus Z if the Z of the sex chromosome is being segregated into the gamete, or A plus W if the W sex chromosome is being segregated into the gamete. So these two, with the production of these two type of gametes, the female in the populations are known as heterogametic. Again the same thing, during the process of fusion, this male gamete, the single kind of male gamete containing Z as sex chromosome, will either fuse with the female gamete containing Z as the sex chromosome and will produce two pair of autosome along with Z and Z as sex chromosome, which will later develop into a male, or it will fuse with the female gamete containing W as sex chromosome and will produce two pair of autosome along with ZW as their sex chromosome, which will later develop into a female. So unlike humans, here the homogametic population is a male and the heterogametic population is a female, and again the chance of production of male is to female ratio is 1:1. Here the sex determining chromosome is W because it is only present in case of female, or its present will lead to the development of the female organism. So when we are comparing between XX and XY system and ZW system, we can say these two systems are completely opposite to each other. However, the sex determining mechanism are same in both the cases. So coming to the XX and XO system, this is different from this XX and XY system. On the basis of what? Here not the type of sex chromosome is determining the sex, here the number of sex chromosome is determining the sex. So what is the example here? The grasshoppers. Right. Yes. So in case of grasshoppers, the female and male will definitely have two pair of autosome, but the number of sex chromosome varies between female and male. The female has a pair of sex chromosome, whereas the male have a single sex chromosome. So the remaining place is known as O, which is O denotes nothing but an empty space for sex chromosome. So when a pair of sex chromosome is present in a population, they are called as female, whereas if a single number of sex chromosome is present in the population, they are known as male. So when the female will produce gamete, these will be of single type, that is one set of autosome along with one X chromosome. However, when the male will produce gamete, this can be of two type, that is a set of autosome plus a sex chromosome, that is X chromosome, or only a set of autosome with no sex chromosome. So if the gamete of female is fusing with the gamete of male containing the X chromosome, then the organism will have two pair of autosome plus two X chromosome, or a pair of sex chromosome, which will later develop into a female. And if this female gamete is fusing with the gamete of male containing no sex chromosome, then the organism will possess two pair of autosome plus a single sex chromosome developing into a male. Here again the chance of development of female offspring is to male offspring is again 1:1. However, unlike the other two cases, in this case not the type of sex chromosome but the number of sex chromosome is determining the sex of the organism. That is, if it is present in pair, then the organism will be female, and if it is present in a single in number, then the organism will be male. So coming to the next sex determining system, that is ZZ and ZO system. So this is again complete opposite of this XX and XO system. Where it is found? This kind of sex determining system is mostly found in moths and butterflies. So as I have told that it is completely opposite to XX and XO system. In case of XX and XO system, we knew that the individual with a pair of sex chromosome is the female and the individual with a single sex chromosome is male. However, it is different in case of ZZ and ZO system. That is, the individual with a pair of sex chromosome is male and the individual with a single sex chromosome is female. So males in the ZZ and ZO system will have 2 pair of autosome plus a pair of sex chromosome, whereas the females of this population will have 2 pair of autosomes with a single sex chromosome and an empty space for sex chromosome. So during the process of gamete formation, the males will produce only a single kind of gamete, that is one set of autosome plus Z as their sex chromosome, whereas the female can produce 2 different kind of gamete, that is one set of autosome plus Z as their sex chromosome or one set of autosome with no sex chromosome in the gamete. During the process of fertilization, if the male gamete is fusing with the female gamete containing Z as their sex chromosome, then it will develop into a male organism with a pair of sex chromosome. However, if the male gamete is fusing with the female gamete containing no sex chromosome, then it will produce a female offspring with a single sex chromosome, that is a single Z. Here again, the ratio remains 1:1 for the development of male to female offspring. So what concept differs here? Again, that unlike XXXY system, ZZZW system, this system is not depending on the type of sex chromosome, rather the number of sex chromosome in the individual itself. How it differ from XX and XO system? Unlike XX and XO system, ZZZO system contain, in case of males they have a pair of sex chromosome and in case of female they have a single number of sex chromosome. Now coming to the most important kind of sexual determination is haplodiploidy system. So what is this haplodiploidy system and how it differs from all 4 kind of sex determination? In all these 4 kind of system, we can see that the sex chromosome is determining the sex of the organism. However, the case is not same for haplodiploidy system. In case of haplodiploidy system, not the sex chromosome but the autosome determine the sex of an individual. How the autosome determine the sex? As its name suggests, haplo and diploidy, the set of autosome, if it is Harpin set, then it will produce male characteristic, and if it is diploid in case of individual, then it will produce a female offspring. So the major example is honeybees. As we know that the honeybee colony contains 3 kind of population. One is the queen, second is the drones, and third is the workers. So what is the work of queen? The work of queen is to fertilize and produce the colony. So queen is basically the single fertile female of the population. What are the work of drones? Drones are the fertile males who will fertilize with the queen or who will undergo reproduction with the queen and thereby produce the colony. So what are the work of the workers? As the name suggests, they will work for the colony and will produce and will bring food material for the colony. So these workers are basically nothing but the sterile females. So as I have told that honeybee have three kind of population in their colony. One is queen, which is the fertile female, one is drone, which is the fertile males, and worker, those are sterile females. So how this three kind of population is being determined in case of honeybee is what lies in the haplodiploid system of sex determination. So in case of honeybees, the females have a diploid system, that means they have 2 number of autosome, that is 32 in number. However, the males are haploids and they have a single set of autosome, that is 16 in number. So when the female will produce gamete, this 32 number of autosome will segregate into 2 different gamete, producing single set of autosome, that is 16 in number. However, when the male will produce gamete, they will give all of its 16 number of chromosome to a single gamete. So when the fertilization is taking place, when the female gamete will fertilize with the male gamete, they will fuse to form, or they will fuse to restore the 2n number, that is 32 number. And as we have already said that females are diploid in number, so during the process of fertilization, whatever organism will develop will have 2n number of chromosome and all will develop into female. However, the unfertilized gametes of the female or the unfertilized egg of the female will develop into males. So all the gametes of the queen bee or all the gametes of the female that remain unfertilized and developed into male organism by a process known as parthenogenesis. So parthenogenesis term is nothing but development of a haploid set, development of an organism without fertilization is known as parthenogenesis, which in case of honeybees will lead to the development of males. So as we have run towards the development of females, I have already told that females are of 2 types, either it can be a queen bee or can be the worker. Then how it is being determined? Out of all the females in the population, a single female will be chosen who will be fed on royal jelly, and the other females will be fed on pollens and nectars. So the female which is fed upon the royal jelly will develop in size as well as in sexuality and will be a fertile female, whereas all other female, those are fed on pollens and nectars, will not be fertile and will remain as sterile females. So out of all this type of offsprings, these males will develop into drones. These fertile females will develop into queen bee, and the sterile females will be the workers of the colony. So in contrast to all other sex determination system, as I would like to summarize it, in the haplodiploidy system there is no role of the sex chromosome to play. It is only the autosome which is determining the sex of the organism. If the autosome is present in pair, then it will be a female in case of honeybee, and if it is haploid, then it will be a male. So if an offspring is formed by the fusion or by the fertilization of male and female gamete, then it will be definitely a female with 2n number of chromosome or a diploid set of chromosome. And if the offspring is produced only from the unfertilized egg of the female with a haploid set of chromosome, will parthenogenetically develop into a males. So all the males in the colony or in a honeybee colony are known as drones, and all the females, out of all the females, only a single female will be paired on royal jelly, which will be fertile and will be known as queen bee, whereas all other females will be sterile workers. So with this, the 5 kind of sex determination system is over. However, one important thing is genic valence theory. So what is this genic valence theory? As its name suggests, the balance between the genetic material in the offspring will determine the sex of the organism. This is first seen by C.B. Breach when he was researching about Drosophila in 1925. What happened in their case, for the determination of the sex of the Drosophila, not the number or not the type of sex chromosome or not the number of autosome, but the ratio of autosome to X chromosome determine the sex of the individual. So in case of Drosophila population, there are 5 different kind of offspring. One is superfemale, the second is diploid female, third one is intersex, fourth one is diploid male, and the last one is supermale. So the superfemale will have sex chromosome XXX and autosome 2 in number. So what is the ratio here? 2/3, that is 1.5. Sorry, I guess it's autosome to X chromosome or X, sorry. So this is X chromosome to autosome ratio. So this will be 3/2, which is 1.5. So when we are talking about diploid females, they will have XX or XXY as their sex chromosome, and the number of autosomes will be 3. So in case of diploid females, the sex chromosome will have XX or XXY and the number of autosomes will be 2. So with 2 number of X chromosome, the ratio of X is to autosome will be 2/2, that is 1. When we are talking about intersex, the sex chromosome is XX or XXY, however the number of autosome is 3. So the ratio will be 2:3, that is 0.67. When we are talking about diploid males, they will have XY as their sex chromosome and the number of autosomes will be 2. So the ratio of X to autosome will be 1/2, that is 0.5. And when we are talking about super males, they will have XYY or XY as the sex chromosome and the number of autosomes will be 3. So the ratio will be 1/3, that is 0.32. So when we are looking at the ratio of X to autosomes, in case of all these different kind of offsprings, from downwards to upward, we can see that this the organism with the ratio of 0.5 will developing into a diploid male, that is a fertile organism of that population, and with the ratio of 1 is developing into diploid female, which is the fertile organism in the population. So any other ratio in between this 1 to 0.5 will be intersex. Any other ratio which is more than that 1 will be super female, and any other ratio which will be less than 0.5 will be super male. So as I have already said that in this case, not the sex chromosome, neither the autosome, but the ratio of X chromosome to autosome is determining the sex. So as the genetic material or the balance of genetic material is determining the sex of the organism, this theory is known as genic balance theory. So with this, chromosomal basis of sex determination is over. So what remains is environmental basis of sex determination, where the chromosome has no role to play in the determining the sex of the individual. That is, neither the autosome nor the sex chromosome, neither their balance nor their number, neither their pair will determine the sex of the organism. So what will determine the sex of the organism? That is the environment. One example is tortoise. Tortoise, when the organism will take birth, if the temperature is below 28 degrees centigrade, then they all will be male. If the temperature is above 32 degrees centigrade, all will be female. So here, not the chromosomes, but the environmental condition is determining the sex of the organism. So this is the example of environmental basis of sex determination. And the last one, when we are talking about non-chromosomal basis of sex determination, here also, none of the chromosome will play the role in determining the sex of the organism. Then what will determine the sex? It's the plasmid. The best classic example of non-chromosomal basis of sex determination is bacteria, where the sex plasmid will play the role whether the organism will be male or female. So with this, I would like to summarize today's topic, which is sex determination. So the summary will be sex determination is of three types. One is chromosomal basis of sex determination, second is environmental basis of sex determination, and third one is non-chromosomal basis of sex determination. In case of chromosomal basis of sex determination, majorly 5 kind of mechanism is there. One is XX-XY system, second one is ZZ-ZW system, third one is XX-XO system, fourth one is ZZ-ZO system, and the last one is haplodiploid system. So in case of XX and XY system, the males are heterogametic with the presence of 2 different kind of sex chromosome, and the females are homogametic with a single type of sex chromosome. Example, humans. In case of ZZ and ZW system, the males are homogametic with or homogenetic with the single type of sex chromosome, and the females are heterogenetic with 2 different kind of sex chromosome, that is Z and W. Example, birds. When we are talking about XX and XO system, here not the type of sex chromosome but the number of sex chromosome is determining the sex of the organism. That means when the sex chromosome is present in pair like XX, it will develop into a female. When the sex chromosome is present in a single number, that is only X, it will develop into a male. Example, grasshopper. When we are talking about ZZ and ZO system, here also, in contrast to XX and XO, then the homogenetic population, that is ZZ will be male and the ZO will be the female. So the male will be the homogenetic with the pair of sex chromosome, and the female will be heterogenetic with a single set of sex chromosome. And when we are talking about the haplodiploid system, no sex chromosome will play a role, but the number or set of the autosome will play a role, as an example of honeybee. So when we are coming back to environmental basis of sex determination, that the environment condition will determine the sex of the offspring. And lastly, the non-chromosomal basis of sex determination, not the chromosome but the extra chromosomal material like plasmids will determine the sex of the organism. Thank you.